Hello, my name is Chamchi Gimbop. I am the political fish. Sorry for being late, but I was waiting for a guest. I am joined by Cameron. Cameron, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Cameron.
Okay, thank you. Your
Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's still a little bit patchy. But we can sit here and just
What I'm going to do, I think it's my connection.
Yeah, okay. No worries. So, while we wait for Cameron, what we're hopefully going to be talking about is a couple of questions. And we're going to be joined by a couple of people. But we'll see how that goes. Welcome back, Cameron.
Thanks. Hopefully this will be a lot better now.
Oh, it's much better. Like banging the tunes better. How are you doing, Cameron? Anyway,
I'm doing well at the moment. Yeah, I'm enjoying the weather, but yeah, I have to be inside all day, doing my university work.
I heard you had just had your very last lecture, like ever.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
And how was that?
I mean, not too bad. We actually went home early. Because we just talk about our history projects, basically.
Yeah, I remember my last lecture ever, and it was quite a sad moment. And the lecturer did an ask me anything kind of thing, and it like gave us a chance to ask certain questions about the stuff that we'd learned that we hadn't had a chance to clear up, especially with regards to our final projects and stuff like that. So, the final thing was quite. It was quite emotional as well. Actually, I remember that it was because I was there for 4 years, so
yeah. I suppose it was emotional for some people,
but not you because you're a cold-hearted bastard, right?
Well, I'm not cold. I just had it by my face. Yeah, no, I'll probably miss it.
Yeah. I do miss the actual lecture type lectures that we used to have. But we've just been joined by James Fielding. How you doing, James?
One moment. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm not too bad. I've just had my tea, so just chilling out before I head out. This evening about 8 o'clock. So
what are you up to this evening? You going to a beer garden?
That's the plan. It shouldn't be too. It's quite nice out actually. It was meant to rain today, we said, but
apparently it's been proper gorgeous there. I mean, it's been gorgeous here, but spring is always lovely here, so it's slightly different. But
if it gets above like 10 degrees here, it's like barbecues are out and everyone's in a beer garden. So yeah,
that's the one thing.
Just got to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, it's one thing I miss is fucking beer gardens, because everything like gardens, it's all arable land. Because like I said in one of Swiss's streams, it's very mountainous, so it's very rocky, so it's very very difficult to farm a lot of the land here. So any gardens as such are generally turned into small farm patches, so you don't really get beer gardens as such. So yeah, Yeah, I miss having drinks by the Thames, watching the world go by in London. So yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, do you want to just bullshit for like 5-10 minutes? Do you want to? Did you retweet? Oh, I should send you the join link. Not the join link, the watch link, so you can retweet it out.
That was cool. So, Cameron, what do you actually study at uni?
History.
Cool. So, what do you actually want to become from that? Is it?
But it's research skills, isn't it? Like in history, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I will say so, but we learn a good range of skills. So now we're doing economic history, we're doing social history, and so it's a big range of things that we learn about.
Because history is such a broad subject, isn't it? It's not like engineering or something. It's
even engineering is quite a broad subject. So.
Well, yeah, but history just there's so many things you can go into from that. Like you just mentioned 3 there. I'm sure there's many more. So yeah. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
So is this your last year, or Cameron? Is this your last year, or?
Yeah, it's my last year.
Cool.
So have you finished your dissertation? It's all handed in.
This is about really just proofread it, and just check it really.
Cool. Yeah. God, I hated writing my dissertation. All I could think about for 6 months was just writing that shit, man. It was a nightmare researching it. I hated it, every fucking moment of it. And then it really put a dampener on my final project, which should have been a good thing. But anyway. So well, we got 4. Let's do for 10. Let's just bullshit for another 10 more minutes. Hey, Sim. Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, I don't even know.
Yeah, we just bullshit. The problem is that what happened with the tax thing that I was doing with G Whistler is that we'd already gone through the meat and the bones within the first 15 minutes, and that's when everybody started turning up to the stream, and I was just like, oh fuck it, we've already gone through most of it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just bullshit for 10 more minutes. Hey Sim, hey Jack James. Hope you guys are doing well. So I don't know if you
wanted to get anybody's opinion on like the past week, because it's actually been a terrible week for the Tories. Like the past 4 to 6 weeks, it's actually been quite a bad, looking from the outside in, it's been a bad week, or bad 4 to 6 weeks for Labour, but the past week or so, it's actually turned face. And
yeah, it's like the last, well, since Jeremy Corbyn become prime minister, not yet. There we go. There's a Freudian slip. Since he became leader of Labour Party, it's been terrible for Labour. Full stop. Most of which has come from within the Labour Party. I would hasten to add, but for the last 2 weeks, yeah, it's been a fucking shitstorm for the Tories. Hence the title of the video. So yeah, we'll get into that. And I don't know what the fuck has happened to my voice, by the way. Can you? I'm going all Barry White at the moment. It's really fucking weird.
But yeah, it's been interesting because I was actually could have been off this week, so I've been following it a bit more. And I was watching an interview on Monday. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday afternoon, and this immigration minister came on, and so they questioned her about this Windrush situation that's happened. And it was like, well, there's been some terrible cases and we're deeply sorry and we'll resolve them. And then they asked, has anybody been deported? And she was like, yes, we know of a couple of cases. And then the following afternoon, they had like Home Office questions on. And obviously Amber Rudd was there. and I think it was, I can't remember his name. It's a Labour MP anyway, and he asked this question like, "Do you know of any cases?" And she flat out denied it. I'm like, "What? Your immigration minister who works with you confirmed there was, and then 4 hours later." You're saying there's no cases, and if there are any cases, they should be reported. I'm just like, oh God.
No, you're absolutely right. It's been a shitstorm. All right, so we got 6 online now. So let's go for it. Okay, so no, let's give 6 more minutes because my OCD is going to kick in, right? So like 2:30. I hate fucking weird numbers. So yeah, 2:30 works for me. Yeah, let's do it at 2:30. Then we kick into the conversation. So let's not try and talk about that too much. But yeah, well, like you're only with us until what? So it's
I could probably
6
stay for another hour.
Yeah, that's cool.
For another hour or so.
Yeah, that's cool. I understand you're going out. But yeah. Cool, man. 6:30.
So is it 2:30 in the morning there, or in the?
That's
afternoon?
right. Yeah. We're plus 8 hours. British summertime. Yeah.
You must have some like really bad body clocking, because I've seen when you're on streams, you're like to like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Some of them. Like the thing is, I don't work until really, really late. So like I don't work till mid-afternoon. So I only do 5 hours a day as well. So
That's not too bad.
Yeah, I work from like most days. I work from like 3 till 8 or something.
That's not too bad. So do you live far from work? Because I know when I've seen you before, like you said, you have to get like a bus or something.
Yeah, twice a week I get a bus, but the other days I just walk. So it's just down the road from me. It just depends what school I'm working in. Depends what job I'm doing. I at the moment I have like 5 or 6 different jobs, and I because I freelance, I go to different places. So yeah, I'm essentially self-employed, but it's only because I've been doing it for so long. So like I'm not really a teacher as such. I'm more of a tutor. So
Tutor.
Yeah, I know it's a bit poncy, isn't it? But I prefer the term teacher. Just tutor's a bit.
So obviously, I'm guessing you're teaching English to the South Koreans.
That's right. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's
So how long have you been over there for?
8 years.
8 years. So can you still vote over in the UK, or
up to 15 years.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Up to 15 years. So yeah.
So after the 15 years,
unless it's been changed, because I haven't voted since the ref. So
you did vote last year in the election?
No, sorry. No. In the G, yes, I did. Sorry, no. For some reason, I just had the ref in my head, like, but no, I did vote in the G. That was the last time I voted. I'm not sure if I can vote in these local elections, but I'll find out. But we'll see.
Well, that's something to remind Karen. That's something to remind Karen, because I know a few people who are at university and they can actually vote in where the university is and where they live at home with at the parents'
Well, that's
home.
not right. Surely it's one or the other.
No, in the local elections. No, in the local it's true. In the local elections, it's both.
Really?
But in the general, in the general election,
it's one or the other.
It's one or the other. Yeah. I know Labour have been running a big campaign on that, because obviously they try and appeal to the younger voters. So you can vote in 2 places at the local elections. So I'm 95% sure that's correct anyway. Yeah. I mean,
poor old Jack James needs aircon. Well, it's only 25 degrees there, mate. You would die out here, mate. When it gets to summer, right? When it gets to summer, you're looking like mid to high 30s, and it's like 70 to 90% humidity. Mate, it is savage. The summer here is absolutely savage. Bob Elvis, do you eat local cuisine? Of course I do. I did tonight. I do almost every day, but it's not the most varied of cuisines. Shout out to Asim, and I'll say my favorite cuisine, if I was to go to an island and I could only eat one cuisine like for the rest of my life, it would probably be Indian. I love Indian cuisine. That's probably my favorite. But yeah, Korean cuisine is not very varied as much. They are influenced a little by Chinese and a little bit from Japanese, but yeah, they're still kind of finding their way. So
yeah, I prefer Chinese and more than Indian.
It's one of those things, you know. So yeah, go
on. Don't they eat dogs in Korea? And
yes,
if you do, have you tried it?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I've eaten what they call boshing tongue, which is dog soup, and dog is a weird meat. It's somewhere between pork and lamb, so it's like nothing that you've ever eaten before. It is its own like meat. You know, if you eat a certain meat, you can say, okay, that tastes like that. Like if you eat springbok, for instance, it tastes like venison. Or if you eat kangaroo, it tastes like beef. Or if you eat crocodile, it's somewhere between chicken and fish. And if you eat frog's legs, it tastes like chicken. Well, yeah, it's totally weird, man. It's like nothing you've ever eaten. Somewhere between pork and lamb, which is just totally fucking weird. But yeah, I've eaten it. I had to. I'll never eat it again. It's not something I'll go out and do ever again. But I'm glad I did it. But and again, it's getting rarer and rarer because of the ethics of it and the way that they butcher it and stuff. People are really getting turned off. So like all the restaurants are just closing down just because they don't get enough people like visit them anymore. So yeah. I mean, there's a dog restaurant near me, but yeah, I don't think many people go anymore. So yeah. All right. So shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So thank you for joining us. I did do the introduction before, but I'll do it again. My name is Chamchi Gimbap. I am the political fish, and I've been joined by Cameron. Say hello, Cameron.
Hello, everyone.
And James. Say hello, James.
Hello. Hope you're all well.
Now, the first thing I want to address, is it time up for May and Rudd? Now, because of the shitstorm that they've had within the Home Office over the last 2 weeks, do you think it's time for May and Rudd to resign? Now, I would like to talk to you, James, first. And then we'll talk about then I suppose Cameron and I will come off that afterwards.
Well, I think Rudd might resign. I don't think May will. Only because obviously Rudd is currently the Home Sec, and this technically happened under her fall. Like I was mentioning earlier before. I was watching an interview last week, and her immigration minister totally contradicted what she said a few hours before. and then there was something today regarding like the Home Office have leaked out as some sort of like revenge attack on Rudd. Something about how she's very tough on immigration and all that, even though she plays it to the media that she's quite soft on it. So yeah, I can't see her lasting much longer. To be fair, I can't see her lasting much longer as an MP because I think a seat's like only like 400 majority.
Yeah, it's very precarious. My only problem with that analysis is that a lot of the problems that Amber Rudd is dealing with were actually caused by May during her tenure as Home Secretary. Like this whole Windrush thing was actually caused by May's tenure as Home Secretary. And she's literally dealing with the shit hand that she's been dealt by May. So the fact that Rudd could fall without May seems a bit crazy, doesn't it? I mean, Cameron, what do you think?
It is crazy. Both May and Rudd should go. Well, should have gone near a year ago after that election.
Yeah. I know, right? I know May should have fucking resigned then and there, but you know.
Yeah. How is Windrush in the news at all? This situation was resolved in 1972 in the Immigration Act, where all the people from the Commonwealth that came in between 1972 and 1948 were given residency rights, full residency rights, and most of those people are going to get citizenship, including my grandparents, but on that one. So it's, I don't understand it. I don't understand what's the issue. I think it's coming from people who were children that came over that had lack of documents, and that's the issue it came from. And the landing cards apparently been destroyed, and that was the key thing that's caused, I think.
I think the policy in 2010 that called for all of the landing cards to be destroyed. I know in PMQs it was apparently it was under Labour, but under closer inspection it turns out it wasn't. It was actually in 2010 under May's watch that all the landing cards were destroyed. So I think that was one of the first things to start this situation, because it then meant that unless before then you'd had applied for a British passport or British nationalization, then from that moment on it then became very, very, very difficult. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking of something. It was in the news again this week. Can you remember them Go Home vans?
Yes, of course.
It was like, yeah.
Oh no, but Theresa May was on holiday.
Exactly. Because they're like director of communications or whatever. Basically, that Nick Timothy who ran the election last year.
Got sacked and then got sacked and then got a column in the Mail. Was that right? Or was it Telegraph?
One of them anyway.
Yeah.
Well, basically, he's said, "Oh, well, it's not her fault. These go home vans were released. She was on holiday, and she didn't approve to it." And then some other two news articles from another paper debunked that and said no, she did approve of it. It happened though when she was on holiday. And then now he's just deleted his Twitter account so he can't accept that he lied. I'm like, it is how that party is run nowadays. I voted Conservative in 2015, and now I look at them now and it's just a shadow of themselves, and it's actually quite sad in a way because me personally, I've said before, I can't vote for Labour. I just don't agree with what they stand for. So, and now I can't vote for the Conservatives, and now I'm only left with the Liberals. It's I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like going back onto Amber Rudd and Theresa May, it's hard. It's easier to get rid of a Home Secretary than it is to get rid of a Prime Minister. So it would be a disaster to get rid of May on this. I mean, I think I've said before, my prediction is I think she'll tender her resignation after the local elections, and then there'll be a leadership election in the Tory party in the autumn time, and then there'll be a general election June or July of next year.
Okay, cool. Okay, James, we'll readdress this. I just want to welcome Gerard for joining us. Hello, Gerard. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. But we're gonna go straight back to James, so you can finish your point. Sorry, you think there's going to be a leadership election in the autumn? Do you really think so?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that trigger a general election though?
No, not necessarily. Remember, May. It took May nearly a year to trigger a general election when she was elected as Prime Minister, and it took Gordon Brown 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So not necessarily, but I think it'll be the same scenario as May had. She would be under pressure, or he or she, whoever takes over as a Tory leader, they'll be so much under pressure to call an election that they'll have to in the end.
Who would be your first choice on replacing May?
It's like a poison chalice at the moment. Like whoever takes over has got so much shit to deal with on all sides that it's kind of impossible to predict.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be like Jacob Rees-Mogg. I don't think he'll even put his name up.
No. He might do to widen the debate though. Exactly like Jeremy Corbyn did, but it depends on how wide they open up the vote, whether it's just going to be the PLP or the CLP. Sorry, PLP, the Parliamentary Conservative Party. Sorry, or the Parliament or the Constituency Conservative Party. God, CCP. Oh God, I've got Labour Party in my head. Sorry.
Yeah. I have had a 5 on Gove and a 5 on Sajid Javid. I actually don't mind Javid, actually. I think he ran a debate earlier on in the week as well on the anti-Semitism currently, and he actually made a few good points on it. Me being Jewish myself, I agree with him. I agree with him on some points. So, but yeah, so I think he would be a good shout. Gove, I think people dislike Gove because of what he said in the Brexit referendum, but I actually think he actually gets things. Well, yeah, but he actually gets things done.
He's a backstabbing twat, and he fucked up the education system. Now he's fucking up the environmental policies. Like, how are drinking straws bad but fracking good? Like, I don't understand how he equates the two things. Like, Hinkley Point C is good, yet plastic cotton buds to clean out your ears are bad. Yes, I agree. These cotton buds and drinking straws are bad, but for fuck's sake, if you're going to talk about Gove, why isn't he attacking fracking or Hinkley Point C? I mean, it might be a bit like conspiracy theories, but I reckon because he's got skin in the game in fracking. I think he's got skin in the game in Hinkley Point C, and he stands to make a few quid out of it. I would have to do a bit more research, but there is a chance. There is a chance.
Possibly so.
Oh, sorry, go on, Cameron.
Yeah, I think he's sort of a platform. Let's say for a leadership election in the future. I don't think he cares about plastic straws or cotton buds, really.
No, I don't think so. I agree with Cameron on that. I do think he's in the environment sector and he's come out with all these radical policies, and then well, not radical, but you know what I mean. He's come out with all these policies. He's the only department in the government that have actually put policies forward since the election. So to be fair to him on that, I'll give him some credit. But yeah, I agree. He's making some leadership maneuvers behind the scenes.
Yeah, he always is. I mean, like, he always is. My again, James, I'm gonna have to pick holes in your analysis. Yes, it is a poison chalice, right? And this is why she wasn't toppled after the last election. But if she resigns, then that's a whole different story. If there are calls for her to resign, right? If her position becomes just unable to be sustained, which is reaching that point. It is reaching that point. You must admit it, right?
Yeah, no, I've never been a Theresa May fan.
And now
she took over the job.
But it's only gone one way since the general election, and now is probably a killer point, you know, because the problem is she can't outrun her history. Right. And the things that she said in the past, you know, having a family in this country is no reason to deny deportation. If they have grounds for appeal, we can deport first and they can appeal later. Right. Which these two things in themselves are really fucking shocking. Really fucking shocking. The other thing is, I just think she's a closet racist, and she's trying to put these ideas into legislation, and she's been trying to do it since she became Home Secretary in 2010. Was it 2010 she was Home Secretary?
Yeah.
The
biggest issue with that is she said all these things, but say immigration, net migration. It went up when Theresa May was Home Secretary.
Yeah.
So no, she gave up mixed messages. I think she was saying that just to appeal the anti-immigration part of the Conservative Party. I do not think she believes that. I think she's reacting to the immigration debate at the time. And if you can remember, around 2010, all people were talking about is immigration.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it seemed to be the only thing that people were talking about, and it was a way of UKIP kind of controlling the narrative, and that's there are so much legislation that we've had since then that just makes no fucking sense. You know, putting these arbitrary figures on like the incomings and outgoings, and it just makes it is literally made no fucking sense at all. No fucking sense.
The problem that Conservatives have with immigration is they promised in 2010 to reduce it to the tens of thousands, and if you actually read back, Nick Clegg at the time obviously was the Deputy Prime Minister, and he said this can't happen. It's physically impossible to happen unless we leave the EU. And even then, it's still nigh on impossible because it was just an unrealistic goal to suit the time to try and stem the UKIP rise. And people believed it at the time, but I think people now are coming like, right, you promised to reduce it to the tens of thousands, you failed on that, and now look at you on this Windrush generation case, you failed on that. So they can't trust them on immigration. The economic side, they're not as prosperous as they thought they would make out. They're meant to reduce the deficit by 2015, and now it's mid 2020s. For goodness sake.
Some people saying.
So they're losing the argument on their key, because the Conservatives have always ran on the economy, immigration, and Europe, and Labour have always run on education, the NHS, and public services. But the Conservatives are losing the argument. So yeah, I think the time's up for him anyway.
Well, they've run out of policies essentially. They don't know what to do. I mean, you could see that in the last election. I mean, the first policy that they came out with after Theresa May announced the next general election in 2017, she was like, okay, so what's your policy? And they're like, okay, we're gonna bring back fox hunting. Yeah, that went down like a cold bucket of sick, didn't it? Really, it was absolutely fucking shocking. And now I want to go back when I said it's time up for May and Rudd. Yes. Now, nobody wanted May to resign then, but she didn't really have any pressure from anybody else. Right? Nobody really gave a shit, because at the end of the day, I think at least 40% of the public was saying, well, May, at least you kept out Corbyn. You can say that, right?
Yeah.
But so she was, and nobody wanted to take up that poison chalice, right? Like we were talking about, it is a poison chalice. But now, she's lost the confidence of the public completely with this Windrush scandal. Completely lost because of her history as Home Secretary. All this shit that keeps coming out about her, and the fact that I'm sorry, mate. Doesn't matter which way you cut it, she is a racist. And the whole van thing, the go home vans. What with matey saying she was on holiday, under further inspection, it turns out these vans should have had more hostile language written on them, right? Which was her view. And from her own words, what was it, on Question Time in 2008, 2004, something like that? She should be accountable for her own actions, her own words. Okay.
Hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Andrew.
Hello.
I was just about to bring you in. Sorry, I just needed to just finish that spiel. Hi, Angels. How you doing? It's good.
Yeah, not bad. I'm just here to be the resident bullet sponge for a bit before I go out.
No, it's all right. It's all conservative, so centrists are all welcome, mate. Don't worry about it.
Well, can I just quickly add my 2 cents on?
Yes, of course. Please do.
So when the scandal first broke, it was really, really outrageous and shocking, right? But I thought that, like has happened on other things that are, really like come across as really, really serious issues, they sort of tend to die down after a day or so. But this seems to have, like, when people have taken deeper looks into it, just gets worse and worse. You hear like some horrendous story of what certain people have had to put up with every single day. So it is, it's just yet another massive fuck up that's completely undermining their competence, basically, or at least their perceived competence. I mean, I think that they've been on the brink of being finished for a long time. I think May is over. I think that I agree with James' analysis, because James, you reckon that they'll probably do bad in the local elections, or not well, at least.
She's gonna get they're gonna get fucking hammered, mate. Absolutely hammered.
I've done some research on the. I've done some research on the local elections in the past week or so. Obviously, it was Monday night. It was a final time for people to register to vote, and I think over 250,000 people registered to vote. It was quite big for the local elections, and the majority of them people, over nearly 75% of them, were between 18 and 35. And if you look at the demographics for the general election, most 18 to 35-year-olds, I think it was about 52%, 55% voted for Labour. So if that if that happens again on even on a smaller scale, then they'll lose up loads of seats. What is natural to happen as a governing party is natural for them to lose seats, but the position they're in, the Conservative backbenchers be like, no, we need to do better than this. We need to get a leader in who can tackle Corbyn, because the Conservatives, that's why they won't call a general election, because they're totally frightened of Corbyn. So yeah, I do see it happen. I see them losing loads of seats, and she'll resign. I think she'll resign. I think she'll say, I've took this party as far as I can. It needs fresh blood. Blah 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 blah, and I'll carry on until the leadership election's finished, and then she'll be gone.
Well, this is the sorry, Cameron. Let me just chip it. Just this one little thing. Well, this is what I was trying to get at earlier, right? Is the fact that once she fucked up the majority on the leadership election with all this Windrush scandal, and it is a fucking scandal, and you know, the entire history, and it plays out over years and years and years of not just Rudd, but May especially, and the legislation that she has put through, right? It really calls for her resignation, right? And this is really going to put the cat among the pigeons. It really is. It really is. Sorry, Cameron, go for it.
Yeah. The issue of this is that May's going to stay there as long as she can. If anything will happen, it'll be all right in May, but I really doubt she'll resign. I think she'll carry on. She carried on before, after that election, after scandals. I can't see it going into 2019 at least.
The thing, how can she? I mean, at this point, I think there's a growing consensus, including amongst many Conservative voters, James included, that she's just she's so awful. She just can't even imagine voting for a party headed up by her. It's a liability.
Yeah. But there's I think you're right there, Angels, to a certain extent, is that you know, there has to be a certain amount of damage control, right? And the amount that comes every day, there seems to be new evidence that Theresa May is just a fucking racist. I mean, like one thing that really screwed my head up is that Cameron wanted to allow all EU workers within the UK to just have stay, right? And just say, look, let's just like guarantee their stay, right, within the UK, and that's it. It's final. There was only one person that voted against that, and that was Theresa May, you know, because she thought it would be a good bargaining chip. Who uses people as a bargaining chip? You know?
Yeah, and it isn't only that. She's just, I feel like at this stage, I don't think the Conservatives are doing themselves any favours keeping her in place, because she's just so incompetent and so awkward and such a liability that I think she just needs to go, because she's dragging the party down with her. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, she is. It's inevitable that the Conservative Party will collapse in some way, but I think we're failing to understand that the Tory MPs, they are frightened of another election. They will do anything to prevent it. Now, I can't see a majority of Tory MPs turn on May, even after the May local elections. I think May will carry on as long as they can. May says she'll be there as long as you want me. Now, it's obviously the Conservative, obviously for months, the majority of Conservative members don't like her. But I think when she said that, she was referring to the MPs. And that's the big issue. Will the MPs turn on May?
Well, I feel like they could. I mean, can't they? Surely at this point, she's so awful that they just need to put someone in who's not her, basically.
The problem is May's the only one holding the party together between, let's say, people like Anna Suber and then people like Mog on the other side. The Conservatives, this is why they're keeping her keeping her there, because they're frightened what's going to happen.
Fuck's sake, Wurzel Gummidge would do a better fucking job than Theresa May right now. Fuck's sake.
But getting rid of...
Carry on, sorry.
I was just saying, but getting rid of Theresa May doesn't mean that an election has to be called.
That's what I mean. That's my point.
Is it mean an election? Is it mean an election? And what I'm saying is it's going to open up massive divisions. People are threatening to leave the party if Mog become leader. Now, it might not, but the party is really divided and it's behind the scenes. It's really going to put you guys to Labour, and that's what they're fighting of. And also, the DUP deal. No, forget about that. And that ends in 2019, but depending on who could be leader, the DUP could be gone. So, anything could happen.
But I mean, I agree with you that the Conservatives are likely to lose, right? Quite badly. After this, their current sort of shambles and behaviour, but they'll definitely lose with May. So, you know what I mean? They have to, at the end of the day, they need to try and cut off maximum damage.
Exactly, damage control. They must be in damage control mode right now. So they have to fucking sever the infected limb at some point or another, and she's I feel though she'll feel mounted pressure from, because at the end of the day it was, let us not forget that it was the Mail that broke this Windrush story. Okay, it was the Mail, okay, the Daily Fail that broke this story. So surely this is one of the papers that should be on her side, isn't it? Right?
It's not really on our side, really. It's really aligned towards the Brexiteers in the Conservative Party. People like Mog. I don't think Murdoch really like me at all. As well.
Well, go on. Sorry, carry on.
That's not the first article that's gone against me in the Mail or the Sun, even in that matter. I think the Sun and the Mail are looking for someone like Mog, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I reckon they'll be pro Mog. They'll be pro Mog. And I don't know, like James, mate. You reckon? So May and Rudd resign tomorrow. Who's going to take it up? I mean, do you think there will be an election, or do you think someone's just going to jump in and take up the reins?
I don't think there'll be a general election.
No.
But a leadership election, yeah, of course. I think you'll probably get like a Remainer type Tory via like a Brexiteer type Tory go against each other. But like I said, someone like...
Yeah, go on. Who would be your Remainer? It can't be Salisbury.
No. She's a bit too toxic, Subra. But someone like Sajid Javid or...
God, man, I hate him so much.
Trying to think of some... Jeremy Hunt, he could run.
I don't know about that one.
Toxic.
Yeah.
I think he's too toxic myself.
Yeah, he's too toxic. Yeah.
I'll bring out Justine Greening.
Yeah, should be a good shout.
Yeah, she'd be all right. She's not.
What about Priti Patel?
Oh my gosh! But you see, I think
she's got a name though. She's in a safe seat.
I feel like Boris is also too toxic at this point, but he's still quite high up on the bookies odds. But like, I think it's when like Ben linked the bookie odds last time, and it's still like Mog in front apparently, and then there's like Boris and Gove.
I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Boris and
yeah.
Gove, and then who was after them?
I don't know. Should we pull it up again?
Yeah, let's see. Because we might have a dark horse that suddenly.
So,
Let's
so
look at
what are the search parameters? Do you want next Conservative leader or next PM?
Next Conservative leader, because I feel like it's just more of a general question. We can just have a look and see what their popularity is. But I don't know. I think that I think that Boris is way too divisive at this point and quite sort of toxic amongst the broader electorate. I feel like a lot of people have like been pissed off at his gaffes and they see through his like big bumbling persona as someone that's actually very like sort of a bit of an egomaniac and in everything for himself.
Interesting.
What does it say?
What's it say? Jacob Rees-Mogg is at 4-1. Okay. Boris Johnson at 8-1. Michael Gove 12-1. Jeremy Hunt, a surprising entry at number 4 at 14-1. At number 5 is Amber Rudd. I'm sure these odds haven't been changed recently. All right. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guess who's at number 6? I bet you can't. All right. Okay. So Angels.
Gavin Williamson. I'll go for.
Okay, Gavin Williamson. Gerard.
Gove also.
Oh no, he's already.
No, it's number 3.
Okay. Solid fingers.
Oh, Philip Hammond.
Hammond. Okay. Cameron.
I checked it a couple of days ago, and it was Dominic Raab.
Oh God.
Angels.
Okay. Actually, I will go for Dominic Raab, even though I can't stand him.
Yeah. It's only because Cameron said he checked it the other day. Cameron, you killed it, man. You should have just said Dominic Raab rather than saying you've actually.
I remember him being on the list though from the other day as well, and I remember him. Oh God,
it's hateful, isn't it? What you can take out Jeremy Hunt because he's too toxic. You can take out Amber Rudd because she's too precarious, right? So then you're left with Boris Johnson. He's probably too. I don't know.
He's too divisive amongst the broader sort of electorate, I think.
Yeah, granted.
He's too much like political Marmite, basically.
Yeah, so then you're left with JRM and Dominic Raab, essentially, out of the top 6.
Oh, Gove might be.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck Gove, Raab, or Mogg.
What about Andrew Leadsom?
I like going Mogg out of those 3.
Yeah, totally. Me too, actually.
What about Gary Williamson and Andrew Leadsom?
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is Leadsom. Then we got Ruth Davidson. Who's not even in fucking standing in the general.
I think Gavin Williamson is
after Ruth Davidson.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is I think that he is not a horrendous candidate in the sense of there are way worse ones on that list, but actually he's too sort of young and a bit too inexperienced at this point. I think he needs a few years before. Okay, Cam. I think he needs a few more years experience first, before he goes for leadership.
So then we got James Cleverly, Tom
Tugendhat, right? Yeah. So I don't even know who that is. I was discussing this. I can't remember. No, I don't even know who he is, and he keeps appearing on the list, and I'm like, who are you? What?
Who are you? Then we have Salad Fingers or The Undertaker, Philip Hammond. Then the person with no imagination, or at least his parents had no imaginations or couldn't do math, David Davis.
Oh God.
And
No.
hang on, this is my little one against James. James.
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
Priti Patel is next, then Sajid Javid. So there you go.
What's the odds on Sajid Javid? Is it something like 25 to 1?
Okay, so hang on. How was that right? That doesn't work. Sajid Javid 33 to 1. Oh, well, it depends. There's a big spread, right? It goes from 50, but the average is 33. But on the average, Priti Patel goes above him.
Mm-hmm. I can't see Priti Patel being.
Oh,
no, I think all that scandal and like when she was sacked or whatever. I don't think.
Yeah, again, it's we're getting into like no chance, mate territory, or two Opes, or we say two Opes. You got Bob Ope and no Ope.
Oh
God,
Bob Ope.
Got do you know there's I think that it's probably going to end up because the way that the Conservative, like how the leaders are picked and as to who gets down to the final two, is obviously they have like a process of doing it. And apparently, if that were the case, that Mog might not make it to the final two. That it might be like Gove and someone else, like even Boris and Gove or whatever. I can't see like a hands down excellent candidate from any of those, though. To be honest, at this stage,
there's no David Cameron, is there?
No, not at all. I think that it feels like a bit of barrel scraping, to be honest.
Sorry, let me carry on down the list because it gets really funny, right? So then we got Rory Stewart. Who the fuck is Rory Stewart?
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, exactly right. Guess who's after him? Like this gets even funny.
What?
Fucking Poison Dwarf herself, fucking Esther McVeigh. Like,
oh god, no, she can't know.
So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there, and that's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
So
9,
probably
10,
like maybe
11,
Gove or
13,
Boris.
15,
Says here,
17. 17th place.
Rory Stewart is the Minister for Courts.
Minister for what?
Courts and Justice.
Courts and Justice.
I'm gonna look him up. Maybe I'll recognise him because they sometimes wheel out these people on like Question Time or Daily Politics, don't they? Rory Stewart, did you say?
Oh no, it's prisons. Okay, it was just no, it's prisons.
All right. So he's Minister for privatising our prisons.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure,
nice.
He'll be a real vote winner.
Oh yeah, nice one. Yeah, like we need a new, like, privatized prison system, just like America, where they put kids in prison for punching someone at school. You know.
God, he looks so weird. I've never seen him before in my life.
All right. Do you want to show us a picture? Go on, you can present.
Yeah, 1 second. Right, let me just go back to Google Images. Hold on. Can you see what's on my screen?
No, because you haven't presented it.
Oh, I just clicked it.
Do you? No,
Hang on.
we can't see it.
Oh, it's a corridor of death.
Oh no!
Can you see?
Oh yeah, God.
See? Have you ever seen him? But I've never seen him in my life.
Not at all. He looks like a quaint English actor. Like he should be like starring in Upstairs,
Downstairs.
Downstairs.
He's a bit sad there. Look, he's like, oh, my chances aren't very high.
It reminds me of Smeagol.
He's quite weird looking. I have to say. I've never ever seen him on any program. I don't think. Look,
No,
he's
forget
got
a picture.
Why is he next to bloody Diane Abbott there? Like, what the fuck is that all about?
Well, it's political blind date. What?
Maybe he's racist, that's why.
Okay.
Oh no, let's stop that, shall we?
Yeah, no, it like makes you busy, doesn't it? But yeah, so that's Rory Stewart apparently. Oh well, it's not like he's going to really have a chance of getting in, is it? So
Asin just said something really wicked. He said, "It looks like a member of Slytherin." yeah. Asin, I think you're exactly right. Exactly right. He does totally look like a member of Slytherin. All right. So, I know we've spent the last 45 minutes essentially just touring, May and Rudd bashing, and they fucking deserve it, really.
Well, I mean,
They
it's
really
not. I was always felt slightly bad when Theresa May kept on getting slated. I was like, look, do you want to just not like go overboard and all this? But but I mean, she's ended up like the past few days. I've got no sympathy left after. She's just so awful, and I just think that, like I said, she's not helpful anymore she's not helpful to the party. It's like she is starting to drag them down to the point where people are just like so appalled at the fact that she's leading them.
I'm sorry, Angels, but I have to say that you're being too soft on her. I really do. And my reason being is because of this investigation over the Windrush scandal, right? And you look at her history and her voting record and what she's tried to bring into legislation, what she has bring into legislation, and how she's tried to curb the migration numbers, and the measures that she has taken. She has zero humanity, zero empathy, and especially I think she's xenophobic. I think she's racist, and for someone to actually in that kind of powerful position to actually put these measures into legislation while in government, I really think she shouldn't just resign her position. I think she should be up against human rights lawyers like Shami Chakrabarti, and her should go like debate head to head, i.e. a human rights lawyer, and her and look at her entire history and what she said in the past and what she's put into legislation. So I'm sorry, Angels, but I do think you're being a little bit too soft.
Well, I've been accused of that before, but I think almost all my sympathy, if not all, has gone now. I just think she's terrible and she needs to go. Amber Rudd used to be one of the ones that I could stomach a bit more than the others as well. I didn't really mind Amber Rudd so much, but I just feel like this has really, like this whole thing has really tarnished her reputation, if I'm honest.
Well, has it been tarnished before? No, she basically threw that election away last year.
What you mean?
Basically, after she ran the campaign, it's like she wanted to lose. Also, if you look after that, she basically capitulated on the EU negotiations. She can't negotiate for anyone. I think if we bring back Neville Chamberlain back from the dead, he will make a better prime minister. Especially when negotiating Brexit. But you know, she's completely awful, and I suspect that from the first start. I didn't see her being the new Thatcher.
I didn't.
Exactly right.
I didn't think she'd be as bad at first. I thought, oh, maybe she will be like fairly okay. Like, but I don't know. She just showed her true colours so badly that and then it just went downhill from there, and then the majority was gambled away. It was awful.
I
campaign.
think her biggest problem with Theresa May, apart from being completely incompetent, right? But what this entire thing has shown is that normally we don't see what goes on within the civil service, you know, so we don't actually know what goes on, you know, because so each minister has their department of civil service, right? So like she was Home Secretary, and she had a team of civil servants, and they used to work on certain legislation, right? You with me?
Yeah.
Now, we never used to know what actually happened, but because this entire scandal was concerning her within that kind of civil service department, it's actually become really relevant. Now we actually get to understand exactly the kind of person she actually was during that time, and now it's all coming to the front, and it's really fucking shocking, really shocking.
Do you think the Conservative Party hasn't recovered from Blair? Because I know after where Blair won, the party was a bit of a mess.
Yes.
I don't think it never recovered. I think it still is behind the scenes.
Well, the idea being that you know, Thatcher created Blair, and then Blair created Corbyn. Blair created Cameron, I think, because they just kind of meet in the middle, you know.
Yeah, I feel like the Conservatives were way less of a mess under David Cameron. Like,
oh no,
they're awful now. Like, because and it's directly really down to Theresa May, like and their massive sort of incompetence on certain issues and stuff. So like, no, I feel like David Cameron was a way better bet than. I mean, May is just doesn't even fall into his shadow. It's awful.
He was just a conservative Blair, I think. You know, he was same guy, different haircut. Yeah, they were just slick politicians, you know. They just that in the center.
Do you remember the election night on the BBC? Dimbleby interviewed someone who said basically the Conservatives wanted, well, this is in 2015, not 2017, but the Conservatives wanted to be basically put in place by the Lib Dems, because they actually, well, keep them from going crazy, basically. That's what this one argues on there.
I do think that some of the more extreme policies, mainly sort of austerity policies and things, I do think that the Lib Dems did soften the blow somewhat in certain areas.
I agree.
During the coalition, so it could have been like the worst excesses basically was sort of, you know,
yeah, but they did sell out on some of their key policies that fucks them up, and it will probably continue to fuck them up.
I think they'll gain seats at the next general election, but they'll probably get some
through their Remain stance, maybe. I think so.
No, but also I think they might take, you know, like your Richmonds and stuff, like your sort of outer London, more affluent Remain areas.
Oh, the leafy suburbs. That's what you're saying.
I think by default that they'll get a few of those. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, they sometimes, like Cameron, you said this before, they randomly do quite well in the southwest.
Yeah. Asim just said, you know, tuition fees. It's gonna take a long time before people forget tuition fees. The thing is, with tuition fees, is they let the genie out of the bottle, right? So between 2010 and 2015, from 2010 to 2015, and now where we are now in 2018, it's gone up, like, you know, what is it, 300%? Is that right? It's gone from like 3,000 to 9,000 pounds.
It's more than that now.
Is that how much is it now?
It's even more, is it?
It's £9,250.
9,250, yeah.
That is crazy. So like before you've even started, if it's like a 3-year course, you got like 27 grand. If it's 4-year course, even more, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No one's actually going to pay it as well. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, no one's going to pay it because they what with the way that the economy's going, you know, and they lifted the ceiling on when you pay it back, because before it was 15 grand a year that you started paying it back on pay as you earn, but now it's what, £21,000 a year? Is that right? That you start paying it back?
Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah. So
I think I've still got some of mine left.
Mate, I haven't even paid back any of mine.
Haven't you?
No. And mine was only 1,175. That was back in 2005 to 2009.
Right, listen, guys, I have to pop out because I need to get something to cook for dinner. There's like nothing in. So, but if you're still streaming by the time I get back, I'll hop back in. Otherwise, I might do another.
Well, I want to talk about Labour's anti-Semitism. Do you want me to save it till you get back?
Yeah, I shouldn't be that long, or I can like join on the side chat whilst I'm out and then just rejoin after.
You going to Waitrose?
Yeah, obviously.
Is it Waitrose?
Oh,
okay, I wasn't gonna.
But to give me my due, right, from about now, between now and when it shuts, I think it shuts at like 10 or something. They start to reduce all the items, so you get really nice food for good deals. So yeah. Checking
out the reduced counter. Yeah, but you know when it's bad when you're doing the reduced counter in Tesco's, mate. That's when it really gets fucking shitty.
There's like never anything left on that. Like because all the students go to Tesco's, like they just nab all the reduced items like straight away, just snatch it from under your nose. Like you can't even do anything. So, but all right, I will rejoin after then, and I'd hop in on the side chat whilst I'm out.
All right, no worries.
All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.
All right, in a bit. All right, Cameron. Let's hold off the anti-Semitism until. God dear, if anybody sampled that would be terrible. Yeah, Cameron, what do you want to talk about, mate?
I'm not sure actually at the moment.
We can talk about student fees a bit more because you're in your final year.
Yeah, all right.
So, how much have you? So you got a student loan to pay for your years at university, and you've been paying 6% interest on your loans since you started university.
Yeah.
Surely that's unethical.
It's completely ridiculous. And the people create this nonsense. Basically got for free, so we're being scammed basically. No,
why punish the kids of the parents? I mean, the argument is that back in the day when there was free universities, it was only 20% of people went to university, and now they're saying, well, 80% of people go to university now. Well, why is that a reason to punish the people that go to university? I don't understand where the logic is. Well, I do understand the market reasons, but I don't understand the moral reasons for doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, they want to make education to a commodity, basically.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
It's a disgrace. Yeah, the reason why more people go to university is because the service industry, big financial services, things like that, requires university degrees.
Yeah.
Well, a job before in manufacturing, you don't really require to go to university, and that's the main reason why more people go to university.
Exactly right. Again, because the economy has changed, the economy has evolved, so the educational society needed to evolve and change as well. The other thing that happened was they took away all, through New Labour and through the end of the last Conservative period and of course the last 8 years of Conservatives as well. They've taken away benefits for companies that take on apprenticeships, and of course vocational courses. So there's no real alternative to a degree. So it's like you have a degree or you don't really have anything. I remember when I was 16, 17, 18, I had a number of choices. I could have gone and got a trade or whatever, you know, or gone to university or gone to college, or, you know, there was a number of different ways that I could go. Whereas now it seems like a degree is the only way forward.
It does, and another big issue is that, you know, who gets the biggest advantage when going to degrees? It's the children of the rich. No, you know, they don't care about equal opportunity. They don't care about it if it's for themselves, and that's how they're acting. You know, when you send people to private school, they're getting better education. It's giving people actually unfair advantage because they're richer. And when they take away maintenance grants, is a big one, and when they take away benefits for people for apprenticeships, what they're doing is reducing the ability of the working class to get better education, but at the same time, you know, they're not doing anything about themselves. You know, their children still going to private schools. It's a big scam, basically.
Yeah.
It's a myth that for social mobility. It really is. And it's always been that with the Conservatives, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. And it makes me sad, actually. It makes me sad. I mean, there are so many schemes that they could do to help alternatives to degrees. Like if you want to get a trade, for instance, or if you want to you know, do an internship, you know, I think it's wrong that internships are unpaid. I think you should get paid for it, because then it just closes off. But that's another can of worms, and we can.
Well, someone pay, someone not, because for my university, I can get an internship, but I won't get paid. But I have to apply for a grant from my university, so I'll get £1,000 for it, basically, if I choose to do that. So it really depends on the unpaid bit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you need funding from somewhere. Most people get funding from, you know, bank of mom and dad. But I mean, what they could do is they could do corporate tax breaks for people that accept interns, which then gives them the leverage to, you know, pay their interns, for instance. You know, there are so many schemes, there are so many ideas that allow alternatives from degrees, because degrees are very, very academic, and people or not everybody is academic, right? I mean, I'm not an academic at all. I'm not an academic at all, and it's taken me a long time to find a way that I can actually learn shit. And this is why it wasn't until I was 25 until I started my degree, you know. So it's finding a way that people learn, and getting the best out of people to benefit the society that they're in. You know, that's the whole thing. I mean, people want to contribute to society. I think that's the thing. It's you know, I think human beings are you know, generally they want to contribute to the society that they live in. You know, they don't want to be a burden on society, and they don't want to be a stain or a burden on society. I think they want to contribute, and giving them access to the means to do that, no matter who they are or what their ability is, or not just their ability, but accessing their talents, because everybody has a talent, and it's just trying to find out what talents that they have and how best to bring those talents out in the person and bring out their self-confidence, and you know, making them a productive member of society, you know. Does that make sense, or am I just like talking shit?
Yeah, it does make sense. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And there's massive issues with the education system. The demographic that actually is less likely to go to university, who's less likely to get the best qualifications, is white working class people, particularly white working class males who do worse at school. I really noticed this. I found that really interesting.
Yeah, I did see that study myself as well, and I found it quite surprising, actually. But yeah, I mean, do you want to go into the details of the study? Because I don't remember the actual details. I just remember the headline. Because I remember.
I can't remember either.
That doesn't help.
Is the people on the study are from the. I think they talk about the white working class from the north. So like somewhere like where I live, basically the British Rust Belt in the north of England. The places like this is Sheffield, still has a lot of high unemployment there. I think they refer to places like that who are overwhelmingly white and quite quite poor areas.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to address a question from Bob Elvis, who said, if you work in a drinking straw factory, are you then a benefit to society or a detriment? Well, if you go to work and then you pay your taxes, which in the UK you pay your taxes as you earn them, then of course you are a benefit to society, because that means that they can pay for things like the NHS, roads, schools, that kind of stuff, and it also pays for your education up to the age of 16 years old. It also, as you earn a wage, it means that you can then pay for. Apparently, if you work in a factory, you're supposed to be able to pay for your house, a wife, and 2.4 children, and maybe a pet and a car. But these are the things. These are the benefits to society. The straw factory being, if it's a plastic straw factory, then obviously because you don't own that means of the production. As a worker in that straw factory, then you have no decision on what that factory is actually producing. So I would say the person that owns that factory is a detriment to society, because not only is he exploiting the workers, but he's also exploiting the environment. So that would be my answer to Bob Elvis.
Well, I would say there's worse than straw factories, you know. Let's look at something like, let's say a call center. So what you do is say the call center, do nothing, make nothing, scam people all day. I think that's a bit of detriment.
Dude, I used to work. I went to university in Swansea, and Swansea is like call center central of the UK, and they actually did a thing on BBC Three about this one place in Swansea, and it's call center work is soul crushing, mate. It's horrible. I used to work for Vodafone. You know Vodafone, don't you?
Yeah.
I used to do customer services for Vodafone. So yeah, it was a fucking nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I actually watched a documentary about a call center in Swansea, but the call center actually they opened a new one in India. It was quite interesting documentary. Yeah. I would say that's something I'll never work in a call center. I would hate it.
It is soul crushing, and that's the thing that everybody had in common. Whenever we're standing outside the call center having a fag, right? Everybody's like, "How's your shift doing? What shift are you on?" And they'll be like, "Oh, I'm on a 10-hour shift. How's it going?" It'd be like, mate, this place is soul crushing. That's the only term that everybody just came up with. It does. It crushes your being. And Swansea itself, right? Because there's two major universities there. They call it the land of broken dreams, because so many people go there like with big hopes, and they graduate after university, and because they can't do what was it? Where you go to work unpaid. They can't do a scholarship, not scholarship. Sorry, they can't do a
graduate scheme.
Graduate scheme. They can't do an internship. They can't do these things because they don't have the money. They end up sticking around within Swansea and end up getting bullshit jobs. So I'm working next to people that have got masters in like classics, for instance, and they're working on the phones with me, and it's crazy.
It is. I know Swansea and South Wales are really echo the pride. I think it's a bit like that around here. It's a lot like that. There's not a massive diverse amount of jobs here. It's a lot like that.
Bubblevis in reply said, I worked in a plastic Coca-Cola cup factory. I quit the job because I don't like to make landfill and pollutants. And there was no benefit to society. Did you pay tax in that job, Bob Elvis? If you did pay tax, then by gratuity, that is a benefit to society. I think a lot of the problem with tax is it's not actually seen, and it should be spent locally, but that's another matter. Okay. I took another job a week later. Okay. But yeah. So what are you hoping to do after you graduate, Cam?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, at the moment. It's not the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about doing my university work. The thing is, at first I want to do something with law, but then I went off that. No, I want to do something with benefit to society. When I see jobs available, I'm interested in them. Most things to see, so I'm really unsure.
Oh, ouch. Mate, yeah. Take a year out, travel the world, mate. That's what it's all about. Broaden your horizons.
That's what I was thinking. If I can travel the world, I would.
Yeah, definitely. It just costs money though, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, and I've next to nothing, and I'm a family. I've next to nothing, so that's quite difficult.
All right, okay. Scout Bauer, soul crushed postgraduates of the world unite. Yes, mate. Definitely. Asim says, Cameron, don't just travel the world, liberate it. Okay.
Yeah, I have to do that.
Well, this is the thing. And I think this is something that we can talk about, because there was a little thing that kind of came out in the discussion that we're having, and it was about localizing government, and it was about the Labour Party and the Labour Party seizing control back of Scotland. And I said that for the Labour Party to get Scotland again, because I said, I think they are warming to Corbyn, right? Because I don't think that the SNP from 2015 had delivered on a lot of their promises. Granted, a lot of it wasn't their fault, because there was a crash in oil prices in the meantime. But since 2015, I don't think the S&P has really delivered on their promises. So I think they are warming back over to Corbyn and the Labour Party. But I think that Corbyn in the next manifesto would need to literally publish almost a separate manifesto or a section to their manifesto and say that these are the powers that we will give to the devolved governments, beginning with Scotland and Wales.
Well, they kind of already done that. In the last election, they promised to give all the power to get from the EU to the devolved governments. And they promised to make a Welsh, an English, a Northern Irish, and Scottish National Investment Bank. So they've already done it. I think this is talk about it more and be more clear about it.
Yeah, I think so. And the conversation went on to actually devolving powers to, you know, Manchester, Liverpool, Yorkshire, you know, all these different places. And what do you think about that? And this is something I really wanted James here for this, but
that's a big issue where I live. Well, what we have now, well, George Osborne did it. He created part of Northern Powerhouse. He created the Sheffield City region. I personally prefer I want Yorkshire settlement, and there is support for this. And we actually had Doncaster Council and Bournemouth Council had referendums whether they want Yorkshire devolution or to accept the Sheffield City region deal. Basically, 80% of people in Doncaster support Yorkshire devolution. The turnout was low, like 30%, but it suggests that the support was there. It's just what I was talking about around here. That and HS2. Okay. I'll support devolution because this country is too centralised around London. People in London are getting a better deal. The Scots are as well. The Welsh are. I'm not gonna say about Northern Ireland, but they just get more money per capita per head, and this part of the country. That's one of the poorest parts of the country was being basically forgotten. Government after government, not even Labour, who dominate this area, has neglected this part of the country. The Labour Party itself is London centrist. Not many people from North England in that side of cabinet.
Yeah, I think I know Jeremy Corbyn's ideologies quite well. Now, ideologically, okay, he would be pro devolution to literally devolution completely across the board. So every county, then every town, like you could devolve as far as it goes to the grassroots, right? Because that's what it comes down to, is grassroots devolution, and then it's power from the ground up. Then you're looking at cooperatives and actually really owning the means of production within that area, and then all the taxes that are earned within that area are spent within the area, and like a cream off the top is centralized, and then that goes towards centralization projects such as national high-speed rail or national infrastructure such as high-speed internet, that kind of stuff, R&D, those kind of things. So ideologically, I believe, right, that myself and Corbyn are on the same thread on this, right? But there is Noam Chomsky that says that it's with the capitalist class or the bourgeoisie, they have very much huge power within any community where they hold a lot of jobs. So say like a car manufacturer or a like steelworks, for instance, in Port Talbot or wherever, you know, if they don't like the way that the tax laws are going or whatever, then they can threaten to pull out. Therefore, they can leverage not just the local government, but they can leverage the general government, where devolution is in force. So devolution doesn't necessarily work for bottom-up democracy, especially where large companies are involved, or globalized companies are involved, especially where local economies are based on it. I mean, we've seen this with the Trident debate. You know, the village in Scotland where Trident is based are very much dependent on nuclear weapons being renewed there, because it creates, you know, 2,000-3,000 jobs within this one village. You know, so of course they're pro nuclear weapons. I mean, they didn't give a fuck about the mad debate or whatever. They're just like, we just want to have jobs. We just want to have, you know, a way to feed our kids. So I understand this is the Chomsky debate, the Chomsky side of it. But I also understand the Corbyn side, or the true leftist side of it, you know, and that is it should be devolved as far as possible, you know.
It should be. This is why we need to state that. What's it? Well, not powerful, but powerful enough to intervene when companies try to threaten to pull out. Yeah. What we need is who's going to intervene and make more jobs in place, and create a new industry. We the government wants to do that, but to counteract it, and we need to, you know, put measures in place. Let's say I think an example. So in Rotherham, who still works, called Tortoise Steel. Basically, what's left of the industry around that area. Now, if they put out about 9,000 people work there, so what you do is from a solution is either, well, we can nationalise it or create something else in that place, and that should be the job of a government or even local governments to replace those jobs. Because what will happen when they go, will be, well, it's something called negative feedback loop, what some people like to call. So those people pay less taxes. The government has less taxes to spend on the public. They will have less. The public has less money. They will spend less money in local shops. The local shops will lose money, and it's a knock-on effect. And that's what happened when the mine. That's what happened around here when the mines closed in 1980s. I can look at old figures of unemployment. It was somewhat ridiculous high. I mean, something like 50% in the early 90s.
Yeah, the neighborhoods where the mines, literally where the mine was the central focus of the industry. It wasn't just the mine and the miners and their families, but it was also the local businesses that suffered, and it then had a knock-on effect to, you know, which is exactly what you're saying, right, Cameron? Yeah. It's and this is the thing about them awarding this all I can think of blue passports, you know, when you talk about this, you know, you're looking about people are talking about taking back control of you know, their businesses and their industries. Yet one of the first contracts to produce the new passports was awarded to a French company, and you're just like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, well their bid was cheaper by a few million pounds. It's like, well, how fucking economically short-sighted can you be? Exactly.
Well, it's Tories. For them, it's like the market side, but it's worth paying more if the jobs are in this country where the taxes will be paid. You know, where they spend money in the shops. You know, and what keep the economy going is people spending money. It's a transfer money that keeps the economy going.
Exactly right.
And
Exactly right.
that's what the Tories missed for this.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they really they say they are the party for the small business person or the SMEs, the small medium enterprises. Really?
They're not.
Really?
The party of.
Where was your SME focus when it came to making the blue passports? Fuck it, mate. They could have created a new industry within the UK, right? They have the power to create a new company, to create new passports, the new UK passports for post-Brexit Britain, right? They could have done that, and they could have created a shit ton of jobs within, I don't know, Middle England, right? And that would have been a massive vote winner. And if they'd have promised that, right, I think that could have been a leg up on the next election. But at the moment, they just fucking die, and they've got nothing. This blue passport thing. I know not a lot of people are talking about it, apart from just fucking blue passports. But it's just one of the industries they just went, okay, we'll just let it go, just because they bid like 2 million quid cheaper. Like, really?
Well, the Tories are globalists. They don't really care about the British industry, to be honest. All they care about is their financial services and their pockets.
Yeah, I know. It's thank you, Asin. I think that's the first time I've got a spot on from you, mate. But yeah, cheers, mate. I've been bottling this shit up for weeks, mate. You can tell it's just fucking coming out now. But yeah, the blue passport thing I've been thinking about. It really just does just fuck it. I mean, Hinkley Point C is another one, right? Why are we getting the Chinese to build it? Do we not have our own engineers? Do we not have our own people? We have the ability not only not to use fucking nuclear power, but to actually make Hinkley Point C an actual, a renewable center for energy. Like,
well, it's stupid because nuclear energy is risky. If one thing goes wrong, what's going to happen? It's really happening in a place called, is it called Sellafield? Where we had a nuclear disaster about 50 years ago.
I don't know.
And the area's would be ready for 1,000 years, but that's in this country, somewhere in England. Might be Cumbria, around there, but it's ridiculous because they're giving Chinese influence in our nuclear energy. Now, how stupid can you be? China is a possible. It's a nation that we shouldn't really trust, to be honest.
Yeah.
No. Let's say something like, let's look at Taiwan. A war can easily break out, and if it does, America's going to back Taiwan and they'll drag us into it. So these things are really possible to happen. We shouldn't also give any other nation influence over our nuclear or nuclear energy. It's stupid because they could sabotage it. They could do anything. And at the end of the day, the profit's going on board to a foreign state. Now, I could shoot these people get. We shouldn't be building nuclear plants. We should go to alternatives as well.
Yeah. Yep. I completely agree. Gerard, you've been very, very quiet recently. He's on mute.
I've just been sort of listening to what you two are saying.
Got anything to add? Like, or do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think we're just talking shit, or like what? We probably are talking shit, but Oh, by the way, that's my disclaimer for this channel, please. I'm not like Captain Swiss, everything you hear is all complete bullshit. Like, it's all opinion, really, based on bullshit. But what do you think, Gerard?
In terms of the passports, yeah, I do think we could have had our own company or probably government agency making them instead of selling them out of the French, which really shows a bit of weakness. And in terms of the devolution points, I would have to ask: would you do it by councils? Would you do it by what way would you define the areas that would have their own locals?
Well, it would be a gradual process. Okay, so it would be through counties first. I would have thought. Well, not even through counties. It would be through provinces. This is kind of like an Asian thing. Is like so you divide the country up into maybe 4 provinces. So you'd have northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. Okay, so that will be within. You'd have 4 provinces within each if you like country within the UK. Yeah, you with me?
Yeah.
And then as depending on how things go, then you would then shrink. You'd devolve further and further as your ideas kind of flow through, and as things like automation and technology take over, you'd shrink them down smaller and smaller. So the actual need for a central state, i.e. Westminster or whatever, because it is very London centric, and it's something that I don't agree upon. It's each town to its needs, and each town to its abilities. It devolves smaller and smaller as they understand or take on the power that they need and that they want. Really, does that make sense, Gerard?
Yeah. So this is sort of like, I wouldn't say pluralism taken to its extreme, but it's definitely exercising it a bit more.
It is, but it would only be possible if you have. I mean, the technology is available today for it to work out. The only problem being is that you have things like kind of intellectual properties, that kind of thing. Rights, rent seekers, those kind of things. You need to have open access to all technologies, and access to house building, access to land, access to, with the technology that we have today, it is completely possible. The only problem being is that we don't have the political will, and changing the political will would mean changing the system that we're currently working under, and I think that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What would it say about devolution? I would say it will start in small regions. So say
sorry, Cameron. Let me just cut you off there. So what you're saying is the opposite, because I'm saying start off big and then go smaller, but you're saying start off small and get bigger. Is that right?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So. No, we already have these historical regions, actually. No, we could have a Mercia devolved government, we could have Wessex devolved government. It'd be quite interesting to give them historical names.
Yeah.
I know, quite lack of cultural identity, particularly in England. That's a bit confusion. I think because, both on a local, a common identity, I think we started lacking in England. something quite interesting. It'll be a good connection to the past if you say the Midlands should be called the development of Mercia. East we have the development of East Anglia and things like that. I think that's a good idea to do.
So, where would we put Corbyngrad? Out of interest.
Well,
we got there's Stalingrad, there's Leningrad. Where would we put Corbyngrad?
well, that's we renamed London. The Soviets renamed.
I suppose it'd be North London, wouldn't it? Where it'd be Islington. Islington is to be renamed Corbyngrad.
And Doncaster is coming to be Milibandgrad. Liverpool can be McDonaldgrad.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I mean, this. I think there's definitely a discussion to whether it starts off big and gets smaller, or starts off small in certain places that are essentially self-contained anyway, and just give them the ability to have their own power. And if you look at like sleepy little fishing villages on the on the west coast or the east coast or whatever, essentially they are self-contained apart from infrastructure, so like communications and transport. They are essentially self-contained. So if you make sure those are centralized and they are connected and always updated, then just give them the ability to run their own power. They have tidal waters. Give them tidal power generation. You live in the Highlands. Give them wind turbines. If you live in the cities, give them kinetic generators. So if you're in a densely populated area, then you can literally put sensors underneath the streets and stuff. So every time someone walks on top of it, the bounce of them walking on top of it creates kinetic energy, which then creates energy. Put dynamos on gyms. People like going to the gym. Why not put dynamos on those? There are like so many ideas of generating energy. Why are we burning fossil fuels and stuff? And it's an ever depleting resource. I saw a documentary about people from a farm, so catching all the trees and then burn it to generate electricity. Yeah. I forgot where this was. More documentary about it, and also the claim that it says every sewage works, which if you live in one, they're horrible. Instead of having them, you could just dry up human waste and burn it for energy. That's what they're saying, and we don't do that. Now, would it be a great use of our waste, feces, to do that? Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm gonna be right back, but when I come back, let's tackle anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, right? And we're gonna do it. All right. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. So Cameron, it's down to you, mate. Okay. All right. In terms of local devolution, the main reason we need it to decentralize power away from London. And if you look at disenfranchised parts of the country, particularly in the north, I'll say the places like in the south, like Kent, who will get a pretty bad deal with things. They need to
make decisions for the local areas. And the government focuses on London and South East, but neglects the rest of the country. And I think it's people in devolved areas taking back control, let's say, of their own areas will greatly benefit them. And if local people in local areas make decisions, you're more likely to make better economic decisions to suit the area. So I think it's an example, but someone the government can make a decision what benefits one part of the country. Let's take HS2 for example. So that's to benefit London, so people can live away from the south east to commute down, basically for rich middle class people to do that. Now, how many people will benefit in the north when the houses get knocked down, when the price of HS2 is too expensive? Who's going to benefit? It's really going to be people in London who will have to hire people and pay them less because living in the north is cheaper, and so they can work in London, and that's what HS2 is about. And for example, instead we should be using that money to electrify our lines and and build on what we already have. So I think it's important we get a stronger local voice on subjects. Well, and I think, but let's look at local communities now. How strong are local communities? They don't have a strong community spirit. They're not really united. People don't really talk to each other. I think this is talking worse in London. Actually, what I heard, but having more local rules, it's going to get people talking to each other. It's going to be people discussing, community come together, solve solutions. They're quite pressing problems in their local area instead, relying on, let's say, corrupt MPs. That's toe the party line, and I think that would be a great thing for this country to have. But it would be part of the solution to building a strong community in the country.
I missed the first part of that. Can you refresh the question, please, Cameron? All I got was to toe the party line, and I think that would be a refreshing thing for the country. And so I didn't get the beginning.
I was talking about MPs and how to toe the party line, and they don't necessarily do the interests of the constituents. And basically, we're better to have more local accountability in involved government, which we will have if we have more devolution.
The problem being is that the Tories would rather have power than serve their constituents. I believe they prefer party politics or party power rather than constituents' needs.
Well, of course, the Tories. I will say all the main parties are reluctant to do this. I think it will be like Finnish parties, like the Greens. I'm thinking of the English Democrats, but as well. But there won't be many parties that will support this. Labour will do it at a stretch. I'll back in a minute because I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah, all right, no worries, mate. Gerard.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Just doing this political spectrum thing to see if I've moved in like the past couple of years. I haven't done this in a long time.
How many questions are you in so far?
I'm trying this one. I'm like a third of the way through.
Oh shit.
So-
So you got a while to go yet.
Yeah. I can still talk though.
Cool, man. Why don't you share some of the questions?
I'm not sure if I have the stream open. I'll do it now.
Well, just read it. Read a question that you find interesting.
Alright, I'll open the stream now. Here it is. Can't really find much questions here. I'll try and dig up it. No, I can't really see much questions there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where was your result? What was your result last time? If you imagine it, like, rather than give me a point score, can you tell me, like, if you imagine it, on the compass, just as a compass. So, 0 being dead center, and then you can say, well, I'm northwest or northeast or southwest or southeast or whatever.
I think I was towards the center, but a little bit southwest.
Really?
I haven't seen
Okay.
it in a while though.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I was really, really deep southwest. Like really deep southwest. But I haven't done it for about 2 years now. So I might have moved since then. I might have become a bit more radicalized, but we'll see.
But I remember being really libertarian, so we'll see how much has changed.
See, here's the thing, right? When I was first getting into like socialism and my leftism and stuff, like I used to have like the biggest arguments with libertarians, and I didn't understand why at all. I don't know.
I feel like you would have a lot in common, and well,
I do. I mean, according to my my rating, I'm a libertarian socialist. I know that seems like a bit of an oxymoron, but yeah, I am a libertarian socialist. But like I said, I believe the state, through the use of technology, will actually like become irrelevant over time. So yeah, I mean that's just what I think. So, Bubble this, if you're still there, mate, you got another question for the half-baked panel that we've got here? Since you're quite an interesting person, I'm sure you got a great question you want to ask.
Not really too sure in terms of questions.
Gerard, you're quite young, aren't you? So you're just going into university probably now, aren't you?
Yeah.
What are you going to study?
I'm not too sure yet. I would probably more go down the computing technology side.
Well, yeah, that's where the future is.
Code and stuff. Well, I'm not really doing it just for jobs. It's partly general interest too, but the job aspect is there.
So, Bobelvis asked us a question. Says, "Is there a limit to immigration?" Then he completely blew his load and said, "And if you say yes, are you a racist?"
Well, there's definitely a limit because, you know, whether like you or not, people use mass immigration to get cheap labor. No, I mean, especially when you come from countries where you get paid a lot less than you do in this country, you're more likely to accept a low wage, and that's pretty much why let's say the liberals support this so much. Support mass immigration
because it depresses wages. Yeah,
and actually quite where's the country where they come from? You know, there's less workers, less skilled workers. You know, so they cause problems over there.
Yeah. So it depresses the progress from the country that's through mass emigration, and it also depresses the wages through mass immigration. Yeah, I mean, this is all in Marx, mate. Bubble-vis. Read some Marx, please. Yes, I do. Yeah, again, I'm with you, Asim. Yeah, I do. I do support immigration. I think I am a globalist person, but I think that to focus on the immigrant and say that immigration is bad is wrong, because we need to really look at the system that's actually allowing this. If the problem that we're looking at is we have places of high wage in relative to places with low wage, and we're seeing emigration from places of low wages going to places of high wages. So an example would be, you know, a country like Romania, who has high skilled, low paid workers emigrating to the UK, which has low skilled but needs high skilled workers, but needs to pay them a low wage. So there was a market reason for Romanians or Polish people, whatever, to go to the UK to fill a need for the capitalist market. Now, the problem is if you get rid of that capitalist situation and we tear the whole system down, God, I'm sounding like an anarchist, then you know, what you really need is a really balanced economy between the two countries. Now, if there were both international socialist countries, then they would have an agreement that yes, there would be immigration between the two countries, but wages wouldn't come into it. The wages would be balanced, and they would have the workers' rights and the needs of the families, and it'll be human rights first rather than profits first, which is what the current system allows. Bobelvis, I hope that answers your question. Is lack of skilled workforce a good reason for immigration? Well, I think it is in the short term, because I think this comes back to the Windrush thing that we were talking about earlier, right, Cameron? And the whole reason why the Windrush guys came over, or people came over in the first place, because we had a complete lack of labor to rebuild after the Second World War. So of course, but it wasn't putting economy above people's welfare. It's putting society above. Well, it's putting society above everything else, which includes people's welfare. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to define that.
Yeah, the poor thing about the Windrush generation, that most people had skilled jobs, were forced to in very unskilled jobs. My granddad gave up a very well-paid job in land surveying in Jamaica. To
are you part? Were your grandparents a part of the Windrush generation?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you suffering the circumstances? Are your grandparents, or did they nationalize themselves quite soon after arrival? Out of interest.
The British citizens. I don't know when they did that, but they're not for anything. I know that. I have to ask him actually.
Bubblevis, can you send skilled workforce back again when they're no longer needed? Well, no, of course not. Of course not. I mean, this is morally absolutely wrong, and this is the Windrush scandal that we're going through in the UK at the moment. Of course, it's incredibly morally wrong. If someone helps rebuild your country and pays taxes within that country through earning wages, i.e. pay as you earn, then it's incredibly morally wrong to deport them after their need is been done. Surely they should be nationalized completely, 100%. Actually brings me on to another point, going on to the, if May wanted to salvage something from this, there is one thing that she could do tomorrow, right? She could do this tomorrow. It's within her power, and Rudd could do this within her power, right? They could just call an amnesty, just say, look, there is an amnesty. If you've got no papers, I don't care. No matter what, this is an amnesty. Just if you're part of the Windrush, or even if you're undocumented, I don't want to use hashtag illegal immigrants, because I think that's wrong, right? If you're undocumented, come to your local council and we will document you. Call an amnesty. This is the only way she can end this scandal.
Well, it shouldn't be a scandal because we already did this in 1972. What's going on? We did get everyone that came here through religious advice. Then I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I know.
What have these people done since we got power? This is an issue that came up after recently, and I saw it became a problem after 2010 after they destroyed those landing codes.
So yeah, exactly.
This it's not hard to sort this out. I mean, people are being charged. Like I saw someone in the news about someone being made homeless because of it after I had a brain surgery, and when I had brain surgery, the bailiffs came to evict him, and because he's now on the street, he can't. He needs ID to get a house basically.
Yeah.
So now he's has to be homeless. It's quite ridiculous.
Yeah,
the situation.
Well, like, yeah. This is it. Like the only thing that May and Rudd can do right now to save probably their jobs or their careers or anything or they salvage anything is just to call an amnesty and just to say, look, I'm sorry. it will be really, really fucking shitty for the far right, yeah, which they've been trying to fucking appease for the last fucking 8 years. But fuck the far right anyway. They should have fucking done this anyway. Listen to me, I'm losing my fucking voice. Yeah. Just call a fucking amnesty. You know? What damage can it do that they've already caused? I mean, what more damage can it do? Jared, what do you think?
I don't really think it could do any damage, to be honest.
What to call an amnesty?
Yeah, because I mean, like, it's not. I'm not trying to say anything here, but it's not really like with the Middle East where you're importing a terrorist. It's more just the families of those who have been affected by it. I would say I would limit it to that. Probably more just the ones that were linked to it instead of like probably everybody, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the moment you start fucking putting in conditions, right? Then you end up like putting in costs, right? Because then you're creating jobs, you're creating costs, because people need to monitor that, right? What you need to do, what I think, you need to do is put in a date and say, look, if you are in the UK, from now, you have until 2 weeks from now to go to your local council and say, I've been here, and you need to do pass, I don't know, I would say like an English test. No, but that would be shit because like I've been in Korea like 8 years and I couldn't pass the Korean test. Like, so I'm trying to look at it as a foreign person abroad as well, you know. So I'm trying to think how could you actually work that amnesty, or apart from just doing a blanket and just saying, look, just go to your local council and say, look, I'm here, you know.
It should
unless a bank statement. There we go. If you've got a bank account, all you need is a bank statement. 3 months worth of bank statements, right? You've got 3 months worth of bank statements. Go to your local council and you get nationalized. Just call an amnesty because it's a fucking shitstorm, mate.
I just looked on the news and apparently Theresa May just said when we're victims we get paid compensation. Actually said she will do whatever it takes to resolve annexes and problems. So she's doing something, but I don't think that's enough.
No, of course not. Like the fact that she said that, you know, deport first, appeal later, is fucking stupid, mate.
Yeah, it is.
She's a fucking idiot. Anyway, we have to. Are we going to move on to anti-Semitism?
We might as well.
Yeah, all right. I was hoping Angels might join us. But I don't know. How long do you want to wait? No.
I don't know. Angels got a reputation for saying she come back at a certain time, but it'll be like a few hours later.
Hashtag Angels time. Yeah. So there was a big focus last week on anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, and they're saying it's endemic in the Labour Party. Cameron, what do you think?
I think that's a lie. I think they're trying to say things that are anti-Semitic, but they really are not. And the ones who are anti-Semitic, they get kicked out of the Labour Party rather quickly. And it's really a small group. And Bubba said anti-Semitic is not a useful word. I agree. A Semite includes anyone who speaks basically a Semitic language, which includes Ethiopians, Maltese people, anyone who speaks Arabic. Basically, most of Eastern Africa as well. So
isn't it Yiddish?
I don't know. I think I'm not an expert on this.
Is it like so? Yiddish is
it's similar to German, I think.
Yeah, and then Arabic is Islam, I think.
It's not just it's Muslims. There's a lot of Christians that speak it. It's just like a Semitic language across the Middle East.
Yiddish is German, and there we go. Both of us just Germanesque. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is. I mean, part of my problem is yes, there was a few MPs that stood up and said how much abuse they've taken, and of course, this is a situation that we have as an issue, but not as a party. I feel it as a country, you know. I mean, this is multifaceted, you know. Anti-Semitism is a racial situation. It's a xenophobic slur, right?
It's not right. It's a bit of a false idea that's a racial issue. You know, some might say basically, if you want to call someone a Semitic group, it's not just white people, not just Jewish people. It's not a race.
According to Wikipedia, to be Jewish is a race. Like, if you're Israeli, go on.
Yeah, it's ethnic. No, it's not because there's Black Ethiopian Jews, in Africa. There's Asian Jews in like Central Asia. You call it an ethnic group. I won't say it's a race, but ethnic group definitely.
Well, Jews would disagree with you, okay, but those that are not Jews but do study Judaism will say that they are not Jew, but they do are of the Judaistic faith, right? So there is, I agree with you. There is a difference there, you know.
Yeah, it's really sensitive subject. If you say something, so have to be very careful because say something slightly wrong. It's anti-Semite, which I'm not. So it's a really complicated situation with this because people say things are anti-Semitic when if you look at it, you won't think it is. Like that movie, there's no references to Judaism in that movie. A lot of people said anti-Semitic, but people said it was because the people were depicted in there. 2 of them were Jewish, but they're all rich bankers basically around the table. So was it aimed at Jewish people?
Probably no. It was aimed. And well, this is the thing, right? If you want to go back to that one image, right? Let me just show you something, right? So what I'm going to do in Google Images, I'm going to type anti-Semitic new real, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do images, right? Okay, so now I'm going to share screen. Share. All right. Okay. So now you can see this, right? Now,
yeah.
So the first one is from Times of Israel. Okay. And as you can see, it's been cropped. Second one, from Bloomberg. It's not been cropped so much. Second one, Scotsman, cropped. Telegraph, cropped. I don't know, weird woman there. Another one, The Guardian, cropped. Times of Israel, cropped. Okay, so most of these are cropped. Well, the problem is that this is the only one that really makes sense because it gives you the whole image. And this is the key. This is the killer. The New World Order is the enemy of humanity, right? And that's the kicker. And this is what nobody seems to understand, is that it is actually about the global banking cartel, not just Jewish people. I mean, when I saw the big noses, so you got the guy on the far right and the guy on the far left, they do have big noses, but I just thought they were just alcoholics, mate, because that causes your nose to grow, you know. So why is it 1 out of 10 pictures I've actually included that?
I don't know. Maybe try to crop it out to control the narrative. No, to make sure people actually think it's anti-Semitic, which is I don't think they're intended to be anti-Semitic. When I looked at it, it didn't look anti-Semitic at all. What you should do is Google Nazi propaganda and compare it to that, just for example. And that looks a lot different.
Do you want me to share a screen on like Nazi propaganda?
Not anti-Semitic propaganda.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let's see Jewish propaganda pictures. Okay. Right. Where are we? There we go. So there we go. I think so. If you look, like, there's definitely a big nose in all of these pictures, you know. But you know, if you like, I mean, especially like this one, you know, it does have a hooked nose. This one as well, it has a hooked nose, but you know, this isn't. It's not something that's universal, right? So if you talk to any Korean, for instance, they think that anybody, literally anybody from the West, has a big nose, and it's just because the Korean race has very, very small kind of like button noses, you know? And it's just, I don't. Yeah. See, look, again, there is a trope. I do feel that there is a trope, but
I can see it, but like, was it intentional? That's the question. We need to ask it.
Was it intentional? Yeah.
I doubt it.
Let's go back to the picture. Like you said, there are two people on a table of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what, 20%, 30%. So you can say that this entire thing was 30% anti-Semitic.
The issue is all those two people Jewish. Do you know who they are?
I couldn't tell you. Like,
this is the problem.
I mean, this guy on the far right looks like Gandhi, but he should be on the left. I mean, this guy on the right, sorry, on the left, he looks a bit like Marx. The guy next to him, I don't know who he is. I don't know who's this bald guy, like in the center. This guy looks like, I don't know, fucking almost like Bill Clinton. Weirdly, like Bill Clinton.
I don't know. There could be just random people. No, people with Egyptian noses. No, so it could be just random people. This is John. Thought we know, and it's not just this. There's popular TV shows, cartoons that people have big noses in. So you gotta think this is probably not intentional.
No, I don't think it's intentional. But everybody from even the far left and far right, like even Novara Media, even like Aaron Bastani has said that he feels that this picture is anti-Semitic, right? And he says if you don't see it, then you should educate yourselves. But even then, like, I'm sorry, mate. I'm not the worst. Like, I must admit myself, I'm not the best educated of people, but I'm not the worst educated of people, you know. And I just don't see it, mate. As far as I'm concerned, this is about the bourgeois versus, you know, the active slave trade within our current system. You know, that's what I see. Like the people underneath the table, right? They're definitely playing Monopoly, right? The suits and ties or whatever. But the people underneath the table, they're not all black. For instance, you know, there's this one guy here that's white, you know, and there's also COS, because that means industry, pollution. We got the Illuminati up here. We've got pollution again down here. Again, COGS, so industry. And it's all about I would put this down, right, to Marxist theory and owning the means of production, and the fact that they don't have to do anything, so rent seekers or rentiers, okay, and that we have or we are allowing their profits to be earned off the backs of us, i.e. the proletariat.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are the proletariat, and this is all of us basically. If you don't own any means of production or any way of generating capital, then you are under this table, right? So that means you, me, anybody, and it doesn't matter whether you're blue, pink, black, brown, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter what fucking color you are, you know. And I think the kicker is when with this guy on the side, on the left. Of course, he's on the left. He says the new world order is the enemy of humanity, because we are humanity underneath it. Because all of the wealth, all of the capital flows to the top. Again, the top being the tip of the this Illuminati pyramid, and it just keeps flowing, you know. And if you look at the wages compared to employees, what was it, back in 1980s or 1990s, it was 20-1 versus the CEOs versus the bottom employees, like 20-1. Now it's 300-1, you know. And Oxfam did a study in 2015, and they were talking about that, you know, like four families own as much wealth as the bottom 40% of the entire humanity or something. And that's actually a conservative estimate. You know, it's crazy stuff, mate. So yes, is this mural or was that mural anti-Semitic? No, I don't. I really don't. I don't think so, to be honest. But maybe it's just, I think a lot of it is projection, honestly. What do you think, Jared? What do you think?
Are we talking to me there?
Well, yeah, Jared. I mean, you
Alright,
can.
I didn't hear you probably. I do think if there is, I was still on anti-Semitism guy left for a bit there. I was
Go
still
on.
on anti-Semitism guy left for a bit there, and I was supposed to start by talking about proletarian bourgeoisie and all this. We went full Marxist there. But yeah, I would agree with a good bit of what you're saying. Like, there is proof. Like, I think, I'm pretty sure it's like the top. There's 7 people in the world that own more wealth than like the bottom 3.5 billion combined. Like, it's seriously fucked, and I think,
and it's
really,
only increased. It's only increased since 2008, which is really fucking scary. You know, when we have to dealing with austerity for the last 10 years, you know, and the wealth has just got more and more concentrated up to the top 1%. No, it's not even just the top 1%. It's the 0.1%. You know. And you're literally talking about a handful of families, and it's real fucking crazy.
yeah,
But
like,
yeah, but
your
yeah,
guy,
Jared, mate, you stay tuned in long enough. Yeah, it's gonna get real fucking Marxist.
Oh, by the way, I did that compass, and I came out as a libertarian socialist. So we can go on to Marxism if you want.
Oh yeah, wicked. Yeah, we'll stick that on the back burner for the moment. The thing, there was a whole focus on anti-Semitism within Parliament on, was it Monday? Cameron, was it Monday or Tuesday?
I'm not sure. I think it might be Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. And there was lots of people talking about how they had been, you know, slagged off on social media for being a follower of the Judaistic faith or whatever, right? Now, not a single person could offer any evidence. Not a single person could say it was this minister did this. If there is any anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, then it should be snuffed out.
Well, they might be kicking them out for years. It's vast over-exaggeration by these people. It's basically, I have to be careful, but it's basically a Zionist race card, because the reason that they're doing this is to undermine that Cohen's position. He's pro-Palestine, and they're trying to undermine it.
So, Cameron, do you think this is? I mean, you're on shaky ground here, mate. And don't get me wrong, I do agree with you. But do you think that's at the root of this anti-Semite smear? Is that because he's pro-Palestine?
Yes, and the people following him are pro-Palestine, not Zionists, and that's why they're getting away with it.
So,
unfortunately,
am I wrong when I say that there was a Channel 4 investigation into pro-Israel or Zionist infiltrators in the Labour Party tried to sow anti-Semitism within the party? Is that right?
It was right, and
so why is this not addressed when anybody talks about it?
It's the media and the political establishment don't want to talk about it. Israel's probably one of the most influential countries in our political system. More than Americans, more than the Russians ever be. Now we have the Labour friends of Israel, we have the Conservative friends of Israel, and they have a high amount of
Israel's.
Yeah, they have high influence on political policy. You know, Priti Patel last year went to Israel to negotiate to give Israel British aid money for his military.
To be fair, she lost her front bench position because of that, though.
But the only reason was because she lied.
Yeah, well, not because you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I get that. Fair enough. So the first thing I want to address is have you seen? Okay, right. Let me start from the beginning before my head just keeps jumping on before my mouth can catch up. Okay, so now we all understand that the Labour Party is one of the biggest left-wing parties in the world at the moment, right? Well, especially in Western Europe, pushing 600,000 members, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, 600,000 people is quite a good cross-section of society. So you're going to get all sorts in there, right?
Of course.
Of course. But being a member of the Labour Party, you're going to be everything from centre to, I don't know, what would you call far left? Communist?
No, I'll say socialist. I won't use the word communist.
Communist is not a dirty word in my house, mate.
I know, but people on the left in Britain don't really call themselves communists, do they? No, the Socialist Workers' Party are essentially communists, but they don't call themselves that.
Okay, well, I'm trying to differentiate between socialist and communist. So okay, let's say socialist, like born in the blood socialist. Okay, so from everything from there to the center, right, is the Labour Party, which is why it's a broad church, and it's, you know, I would say, like, if any kind of polling people want to have a sample of society of the left, I would say, 600,000 people is quite a good sample. If you look at any Ipsos poll or whatever, right? Ipsos Moral, like they only sample like a couple of thousand people across the board. 600,000 people. Now, do you think a lot of those people are going to be pro-Israel? Probably. Do you think a lot of those people are going to be pro-Palestine? Probably. Do you think a lot of those people are going to be a little bit racist? Probably. Do you think a lot of those people are going to be a little bit xenophobic? Probably. 600,000 people. You'll probably get a bit of everything in there. A bit of everything. And to say that it's endemic throughout the Labour Party, yet not offer any evidence towards any of the ministers, towards any of the followers, or to what is it? How many cases have been reported out of 600,000 people? Like 70 cases of true anti-Semitism or anti-Semite racist abuse. 70 out of 600,000 people. Yet, when you look, I know I'm fucking whataboutery, but yet when you look at the Conservative Party, they have legislation, racist legislation written into law, right? And they're having a go at the Labour Party. Oh, you're not doing enough to combat anti-Semitism and racism within your party. I'm sorry, mate. This is just wrong. Absolutely wrong. 70 people within a 600,000 people party is just crazy. I'm sorry. It's just crazy. It's like searching for searching for a fart in a jacuzzi or something. I don't know. It's just really, it's just wrong. Gerard, what do you think? Do you understand? Am I just rambling? Am I talking shit? Like, I'm probably talking shit.
You're rambling a little bit, but you're making sense. Yeah, they do have, in terms of racism in the parties, yeah, you can see that even with like Tory councillors are being kicked out and stuff for saying stuff against Muslims, blacks, and all this stuff. And I do think there's a good bit of an empowerment in general between the parties, but I do think it is a good bit of it is concentrated within Tories.
Cameron, what do you think?
I think it's inevitable you get some of these people in there. But, yeah, I'm gonna say, what about I would consider the Holocaust now as anti-Semitic. Well, the British state, well, it's the hypocrites basically. What the Nazis call what I think it might be Himmler what said it. What he called the great inspiration for the Holocaust, and that was Armenian genocide. But basically, nation states across the world deny it. This is the thing. It's because we're basically ignorant of what's going on. Oh, in the same way, we're ignorant of what's going on behind the scenes. I think this whole affair is being planned as a last case scenario to smear Jeremy Corbyn.
It is kind of last ditch, mate. And Holocaust denial it's really messy.
what it is, and there's people out there who would deny it. But the evidence suggests it really happened, and I don't know why they do it.
I know.
Well,
right.
you know what? The British state denies a genocide that nearly 2 million people died. What that is by the Nazis, which is just as bad, almost as bad. And that's what the Armenian genocide, which I just gave an example of.
So, do you think it will stick going forward, or do you think it's running out of legs?
It is because people.
Sorry.
Don't believe it.
Bubble Elvis. Bob Elvis, do you want to join us, right? If you're a Holocaust tonight, do you want to join us and take the bullet? Which you will get the fucking bullet. Not sure how many Jews were killed in the Holocaust tonight. No, there were millions of Jews, mate.
Well, the figures are estimates actually. So no one's really sure.
Well, I know they counted the shoes, and there were millions of shoes, pairs of shoes.
But the Nazis are the weird things with the clothes. They took them and sell them basically at times. So you don't really know.
I don't. I'm like, so what are you trying to say, Cameron?
Oh, the human. Basically says we say the figures are inaccurate because you can't really. Not as like took the shoes and sold them and things like that with the shoes, and sometimes destroy them. So I think it's a bit more than the official figures that people say.
Yeah, probably more. Probably.
But
yeah,
it's impossible to find out how many people killed, but
it's absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. And the fact that anybody would try and deny that portion of history would be doomed to repeat it, and that really, really fucking scares me. And the thing is, I actually stumbled into a Holocaust denier room one time. I was just bouncing around YouTube one night, and I hit on a Holocaust denier room, and I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Weird, like proper weirdos. And they were saying how they faked all the photographic evidence. I was just like, really? I mean, like the photographs from Auschwitz in particular, during my degree, I studied them hard, right? And a friend of mine actually went to 3 of the concentration camps in Germany, and the photographs he brought back were fucking crazy. I studied photography, by the way, and to even post, like fucking in 2009, 2010, to bring back photos like that, like evidence that the Holocaust actually took place, was fucking crazy. And to hear these 4 or 5 Americans during the podcast just explain to each other why they think the Holocaust didn't happen when they haven't even stepped foot in their own country, was really fucking weird to me. It's like, well, why didn't you go to Auschwitz? Okay. Why didn't you go and see the fucking places where they were gassed? You know, why didn't you see the train lines? Yeah, that only ended in one place in the concentration camps. Why don't you go and see the Auschwitz where these people were actually kept in concentration camps? Why don't you go and see these places and see the conditions that they're actually kept in? Because these places are still there because they're kept for posterity, so people can't. So people are still reminded of how it happened, you know, and so we don't relive this kind of shitstorm again, you know.
Yeah.
So you can tomorrow. You can get on a train to Auschwitz tomorrow and go there, right? And you can see how the steps were worn down only on one side when they were going up, where millions of people walked up one set of stairs on one side, always on the right side, you know, never on the left, always on the right. You know, it's fucking weird, man. Fucking weird. And they have the gall, right? These are, I'm sorry, but they were all Americans. If anybody's in the chat that is American, and I'm very, very sorry. But the people that I did collide with within this Holocaust Denier channel, they were all American. And the only thing I can say is they just haven't been outside of the country, you know.
Well, yeah. Have you been on Stormfront? Have you seen that website before?
Sorry,
the website Stormfront.
No, I haven't. No, I've heard of it though. I've never been there though.
Yeah, it's for these people who are basically what they're all white nationalists, and there's a lot of Holocaust deniers that lurk on that site. So it says some weird things that they can't read back up.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. I was looking at the side chat.
So the website called Stormfront. It's basically a white nationalist site.
Oh God.
If you look on there, you find a lot of Holocaust now. But there was arguments as well whether this should spot quote unquote Jewish people against Muslims. It's basically crazy.
Oh God, I see. This like I could never go to. I know, like I should do. Like Sun Tzu says, know your enemy. You've got to know your enemy before you can address them and face them in combat, right? Whether it be verbal or physical, right? And I can't stomach it, right? Literally, when I was in that Holocaust denial room, like I was literally there for like 5-10 minutes, and my stomach started curdling, and I was just like, I can't fucking. I was just like, are you guys for fucking real or what? Like, really? And they were talking about, all these pictures are faked, blah 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 blah. When I know. Like I said, I know a friend of mine went to Auschwitz and he took pictures himself, and he has evidence, posts of evidence of genocide, and you can see it in his photographs. And the guy got a first. Fair play to him. He got a first. But fuck's sake, man. How can you still sit there and just fucking deny it? And it really it makes me sick, It makes me sick because it's people like that will then go forward, right? And they will then justify genocide for this ethno state. These are the far right retards that will then justify, like I say, kicking out. Oh, if you're not going to leave our country, then you're going to a death camp. Dude, it's not a fucking stretch. It's not a fucking stretch at all. Let's invite G. Well, up all this, mate. Come speak for yourself, mate. Nobody can speak for you. All right, I'm gonna send. Oh shit. Gerard, what do you think?
I just don't think anybody can deny something like that ever happening. I mean, you're talking about the same people who also said, kill anything that we don't agree with or anything that doesn't agree with us. Any arbitrary characteristics that you can't even control, like say your hair color, your height, or anything like that. You're fucked off. So I don't see why, just judging based off that stuff, I don't see why anybody would deny the Holocaust stuff. And even then, like, any arguments they have to make for it are a real big push and need some mental gymnastics before you even start to believe them.
That's it. That's exactly right. Mental gymnastics. You need some serious fucking mental gymnastics. I can't. I really can't. I can't square that circle, mate. I can't do it. You know. I can't do it. I really wish G and Bubblevis would be here right now. And so G, if you're still listening, and Bub Elvis, if you're listening as well, I want to get you two in the same room together, and you guys can battle it out on my channel if you like. What do you think? Hit me up on Twitter if you're up for it. But yeah, I think you guys need to work it out, you know. But yeah. But anyway, going back to anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, I think it pales in comparison to the blatant racism that's been abhorrent within the Conservative Party.
But is the issue, we all know there's a lot of racism there, but the media doesn't like to focus on Tories. That like to take out Labour. You know, it's a huge bias. You know, nobody talks about how Boris Johnson wants called African children having watermelon smiles, but
Yeah,
no, let's focus on Labour. It's ridiculous. And wasn't there a Tory MP who went to a party dressed as Nazi?
mate, the whole Nazi theme is massive within the Labour Party. I mean, within the the Tory Party. And I'll find something. Hang on. All right, so here we go. Councillor made Nazi salute. There we go. Look. Oh, there's another one.
See, did you get with it? No, one of the did you get with it? And the Scottish YouTuber making a Nazi pug do a salute. We're making a pug do a salute to get away with it. Well, it's ridiculous.
There's another one. Look at that. Fucking crazy is that? But, you know, we're not allowed to talk about that because they're the ruling party.
Yeah, pretty much. It's talking about systematic ways to live.
Well, here we go. Buy a headset, dude. Think for yourself and be realistic, and don't let others bully you in some sort of conformism. Conformism.
Actually,
I think I have my own mind. Excuse me, Bubblevis. I think I have my own mind. Yes, and I am inviting you onto my channel. You say I won't like it, but I think that if I don't need to face you, but there are people behind me that would love to debate you, definitely. G Whistler being one of them, definitely. What does think for yourself have to do with historical facts? That's a good point. G Whistler, here's a question for you. Is there anything that I've said tonight that you've heard been historically inaccurate? You're better at history than I am, so that's a question. Now, I think the bottom line is, right, and this is something that I, despite what's going on in the side chat, does the UK have a problem with racism? Yes. Can we include anti-Semitism in racism and xenophobia and can I just use a shorthand, racism? Is that okay, Gerard? Is that okay, Cameron?
Yeah.
Gerard, what do you think? Is he gone for a piss or something? Probably.
Maybe.
Is that cool, Cameron? Like for you, if I just say like racism as an umbrella term, like
I think it's more the first term. You can't say it's a really umbrella thing because
I know it's multifaceted, but I mean we have unconscious racism and we have conscious racisms. Also, there is institutionalized racism, you know, and the problem is that we've felt recently is these institutionalized racisms that we've had have been introverted, but ever since the Brexit vote, they've become extroverted, and it's only until recently with the Windrush scandal that we found out they're actually legislative kind of racism as well, you know. So these are multifaceted, they're multi-layered kind of areas of racism, you know. And it's going to take a real kind of effort. I mean, it's going to take the transformation of society to actually fucking rid it all. And I think a lot of it is actually social economically.
what I would say is, I would say that Britain is more of an anti-racist country. I'm talking about the average person on the street. I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about the extremes. It's very hard subject to talk about because I experience next to no racism at all. And in my opinion, it's a small minority who do it without saying the words. Basically, they try to hide it. And it's actually hot. It's where they act towards, basically. You know, if the race is not. Well, is it institutions racist? But institutions racist. Partially they are. But I won't say we're entirely racist. No, the British state is. I won't say it. But if you look at trends, the people banning people like Lawrence Southern who are talking about radical Islam and Muslims too. I think it's a case by case basis.
Well, yeah, this is the problem, I think. And again, with my shorthand, I've actually, suffered in the same thing. It should be a case by case basis, and every situation should be examined. But how feasible is that? How can you do it?
It's not very easy to do. I would say that the people can do what they want unless it affects anyone else, and if you use that philosophy towards basically to races, to religions, I think we would eradicate most prejudice in this country.
I know, right? I know. But freedom of religion and all that. So, whatever happened to the 19th century Britain, where we gave refuge to political people in exile? Whatever happened to that time? There is a reason why Karl Marx died in the UK.
Germany was a very when Germany first united, it was very iron fist, very militant, very authoritarian state, especially in the state of Prussia.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the south and Bavaria, a bit, you have more freedom there, but. Yeah, early Germany is quite interesting place to study in terms of history.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's getting to like 5:30 in the morning at the moment, and you can hear my voice is actually dying, right? So, I'm gonna wrap up this stream soon. I think, unless we've got some wicked questions from the side chat. So, side chat's been wicked. G-Whistler's being given Bubblvis loads of shit. Like I said, I want both of you on my channel, and I'll handle a debate between the two of you. Bubblvis, will you debate G-Whistler? And G-Whistler, will you debate Bubblvis? Let us know. But no. Oh no. That's a bit crap. Anyway, all right, fair enough. It's your choice, mate. Another time, Highlander. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this stream up. And Cameron,
Yeah.
dude, it's been a privilege and an honor to host you tonight.
Thanks. It's been great being on.
Yeah, have you had fun? I think we actually got a lot spoken about. Actually, we spoke a lot out. You know, got a lot out there in the open.
Yeah, we're talking about a good range of subjects.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Don't forget to like the stream, as Bob always says. Don't forget ouch. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget to subscribe. Gerard, who's sat there like silently lurking like a ninja in the dark, mate. An Irish ninja. So I don't know. Like, is there an Irish joke with a ninja involved?
Unless you could probably, if you're stretching, make a terrorism joke out of it, but.
But again, Gerard, thank you for lurking in the background like an Irish ninja, mate.
No problem.
And yeah, thank you, and good night, everybody. And guys, stick around after I kill the broadcast. All right. Thank you, G. Thank you, Bob Elvis. Thank you, Angels. Thank you, everybody that's been in the side chat and made it more interesting. I'll catch you next time, maybe tomorrow night, maybe the night after. Who knows? Apparently, Styes is going to be taking up the Sunday night stream, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, goodbye. Say goodbye.
Bye.